On Sunday the 1st of August, we will sing hymns in the cathedral for the first time in more than 16 months. I'm so looking forward to it. It is undoubtedly one of the things I have missed the most. The resumption of hymn singing is a welcome sign that life really has changed, and changed for the better. We will continue to be careful, but the restraints have eased. As you know, this is the last of the Daily Reflections, a series which began as hymn singing stopped and as the UK entered its first national lockdown. I've enjoyed these moments in your company enormously. I hope you've got to know us all a little better as the months have unfolded. You have been generous with your comments, and they have come from every corner of the world. Preaching a sermon from a cathedral pulpit is an immense privilege, but a cathedral pulpit is a very specific context. The architecture, the acoustic, the general expectation, and the liturgical setting all push the preacher in a direction which is necessarily formal and considered. Offering a reflection to a mobile phone in an empty office is a very different context. I and my colleagues have relished the difference, and it's interesting to me that the format has resonated with what we have been living through. What do I mean by that? Everyone has had their own experience of lockdown, obviously. Some of you will have spent more time than you are used to with those whom you love. But it hasn't been like that for all of us. With colleagues working from home and with my family away during the day, the beginning of this year in particular was rather solitary. I would have breakfast and lunch by myself, sit through Zoom meetings, make calls, go for lone walks, and rattle through emails. Switching on my phone to reflect with you at the end of one of those days cohered very well with the hours that had preceded our 5 o'clock rendezvous. It was of a piece with it. Except, of course, that we are never alone. I'll say it for the last time. COVID took everything from us. Gathering for worship, singing hymns, hearing the choir, celebrating the sacraments. At the same time, COVID took nothing from us. Whatever our experience and however great our loneliness, it could not take God from us. Nothing could. And God's presence with us is never inert or lifeless. The chair I'm sitting on has also been with me throughout the pandemic, and I've been glad to sit on it. But that's the extent of my interaction with it. God is not like a chair, something that's there and that we collapse into now and then. If God is as we believe God to be in Christ, then God is living, healing, reconciling love. And there is much, much for a God like that to do in each of us, if only we will let him. One of my favourite psalms is Psalm 42. I never like to miss evening prayer on the 8th evening of the month when we hear it. Verse 9 of Psalm 42 begins, "One deep calleth another." One deep calleth another. It's an image for me of what's been going on in these last 16 months. The fathomless depths that is God calling to the fathomless depth that is each of us. When you and I die, I believe that our fathomless depths will be joined to the fathomless depth that is God. One deep will no longer call another, because there will only be one deep, and we will be part of it. So, may I make a suggestion for your prayers in the days ahead? It's this: ask God to show you what he has been doing in you and for you and with you. Ask him. I suspect you'll find that the distance between you and God, the distance across which deep calls to deep, is not what it was when you last checked. It may be that in the crisis we have lived through, you have drifted. It may be that you have drawn closer. The former is not something to despair about, and the latter is not something to be complacent about. The destiny that God wills for each of us is our union with him. That's what he wills, and that's what he will work. We just need to get out of the way. Thank you for your patience and for your encouragement. We're not abandoning our online ministry. We're rethinking it, and we will be in touch. May God bless you richly this summer as deep continues to call to deep.